UK Drill is a window into the underbelly of Black British life here in the UK, and in particular in London. This window has no filter, it is not tinted, it is extremely clear, and as such it shows us things that many of us would much rather not see. However, I want to argue in this video that UK Drill and genres like UK Drill, both in the past and in future, show us things that we could never know if these youths weren't talking about it in the music. And in my opinion, there are some very, very, very valuable and important things that we can learn about what our youngsters need, what they want, what they're not getting from wider society, from their families. So stay tuned as we dig into this in this video. This video is being sponsored by More Education. More Education is an online tuition program for children in years 7 to year 11. Their team of experienced tutors has helped hundreds of students since 2017 in GCSE English and GCSE Maths, and they've achieved a pass rate of over 90%. And their rates are very competitive too, starting at £11 per hour. Click on the link in the video description to find out how More Education can help your child to achieve their potential. So what is it that we can learn? I'm saying we can learn from things from UK Drill that we wouldn't be able to learn otherwise. Well, what can we learn, and what's the point of learning this apart from these youths that just wanted to kill each other all the time? Well, for me, there are 3 or 4 themes that really come across very strongly in UK Drill, and that we as adults, in particular parents, elders, really need to take stock of and understand. First of all, I would say these youths, these young people, these young boys are craving power. They really, really want power. And why do I say that? Well, because when you listen to when you look at the videos and listen to these songs, I've talked about the violence. Violence, actual, these youths holding an implement and doing what they're doing to their ops. That is a manifestation of power. Naked violence is the most base level power that you can think of. It's the base level expression of power that you can think of. And for people who don't have power, for people who don't have social power, for people who don't have economic power, for people who don't have, even familial power or political power, all these other forms of power, you can always revert to violence, to physical, raw violence. And that is what you see all over and over again in these videos. These youths are craving power and they want to manifest power. And the only power that they can get hold of is the power that you get from holding a weapon. I'd say as well, you look at them standing about in their groups. They're always in groups. Very rare that you just get 1 or 2 people just there talking. They're always in groups of 5, 6, 7, even 10 of them all hanging around in their big groups. Why? Because strength in numbers, power. Power in numbers, strength in numbers. For me, that's what I'm seeing. These youths want power. They want a sense of strength. They want a sense of an ability to have power over other people. They want power. And the problem is they're channeling this desire for power in a dark, low vibration direction. So you listen to some of these songs and you see them. There are many of these songs where they mention people's names. They say, look, we met such and such and we basically, attacked them and stabbed them or killed them or whatever. That's what they're talking about, specific people, sometimes in a very macabre way. There's one notorious song that I won't mention, but one notorious song that initially was banned from YouTube where these guys, this gang, they reeled off about 4 murder victims and say, yeah, this person got murdered, that person got murdered, this person got murdered. And 3 or 4 other people who, were attempted murders, Very, very, very low vibration. It's dark. It's like a demonic, taking those energies, which are good energies. That desire for power is a basic trait of existence. All of us desire power. We want power. But it's being channeled into hating themselves, because you notice they're not talking about the political system. They're not talking about, their ops are their brothers and sisters. In some cases, that song I'm talking about in particular, the ops were their cousin. They're talking about, their cousin got killed, and they laugh about how their cousin got killed because their cousin was in a different gang. Very low vibrational energy. But my basic point is, first and foremost, power. These youths crave power and they celebrate the power that they feel they have being part of these gangs. Secondly, related to that is territory and location. Wherever you are in London, and in other major cities, be aware that in your small little, just your one estate, there's going to be a gang there that probably has this drill group or drill artists. And they are loyal to their patch. They're loyal to their turf. They're loyal to their ends. And what does that tell you? That shows you that these youths, again, are craving a sense of ownership. They want to feel like they own territory. They want to feel like they own something. And guys, I've talked in many of my videos about how not many black people own their own homes. And, you know, maybe I get laughed at or I get scorned saying, oh, why does it matter? It's just some middle class nonsense. Okay, I'll tell you why it matters, because we all need to have that sense of belonging. We all need to have that sense of ownership. Just like we need to have that sense of power, we need to have that sense and that reality, not just that sense, that reality that we own something. Something is ours, whether it be on an individual level or on a group level. Now, most of our young people, black young people in this country, are growing up in social housing, in council estates. And as a result, because, you know, the parents don't own these flats, they don't feel like they own anything else. So they own their territory, they own their ends. And they're like, listen, you can't come into this area. If you're from the next estate, literally 2 minutes down the road, you can't come into this estate. These youths, like, they identify, it's like football, just like, you know, football hooligans, like, yeah, come on Arsenal, come on Tottenham, come on, you know, Man United or whatever, come on Liverpool. That's how these youths are with regard to where they live. So there's a craving and an intense desire for for ownership and territory. And they defend that territory and they defend that ownership as if they are freedom fighters defending their country from foreign invaders. You listen to the music. You hear them talking about this person came and was lurking on our ends and we got them and this, that and the other. Then, like, if someone gets killed, they ride out. Right, if one of their gang gets killed, they say, right, we're going to ride out or slide for whichever victim it was, and they'll slide out and they'll go to the other territory of the other estate and try and find someone to retaliate on. You know, it's craziness, low vibration, but the instinct, the desire for territory and location, I understand, is number two. And related to that as well, a third point I think really comes out strongly for me is that desire for family and loyalty and belonging. They're all intertwined, aren't they? Power is interrelated to a sense of territory and ownership, which is interrelated to a sense of family and belonging and loyalty. You listen to these lyrics. This is the strongest thing that comes out, is that even while they're talking about all of this demonic violence that they're celebrating and all that sort of stuff, they are given the justifications for it. They're saying that, well, because them lot did this to our boy, so because of that, I have to go out and get their boy, and we had to go out and get their boy, and then they, you know, there's like a sense of honor amongst them when it comes to their own crew. The gang at its core is what? The gang is basically a family. In one sense, it's also a business, actually, which relates to the point I'm going to make in a minute. But it's, in one sense, a key part of a gang is that it's family. It's a sense of belonging. It's a sense of relatedness. That these people are my family. These people are my boys. They will ride for their boys. They will defend their boys. They will never snitch. That's where the things like the no snitching comes from. If something happens, never snitch on their crew. They'll never out you, by which I mean for you very older people. They'll never tell the police about what really happened or anything like that. There's a real sense of loyalty. For example, when someone gets, as it always happens, half these drill rappers get put into prison eventually because they're involved in this life. They're not just rapping about it. They're talking about what they're doing. And whenever someone gets put in prison, they'll be like, free this and this, free that, free this, free that, free whoever it might be. And for me, as I said, that speaks to a sense, that gang membership, that speaks to a real desire to be part of a family, okay? And fourthly, I want to talk about wealth. Why do these young people get involved in trapping? Why do they get involved in county lines? Aside from being groomed and, exploited by elders, so that's a point that often people don't want to talk about, but half of these youngsters in these gangs have been exploited, have been groomed, have been pressured into getting involved in these things, because this is the kind of things that happen in these estates, in these areas. But Part of the reason why they get involved in these things is because they want money. If they can think they could be getting like £200-300 a day from drug running and going and doing their county lines and this, that and the other, of course they're going to do that. If they're looking and seeing their mum at home who's working like a care work job and has been working 10-hour days or 12-hour days or whatever, night shift, this, that and the other, of course they're going to be a little bit jaded about that and think, well, why would I even bother doing that when I can just go and join the Mandem on road here and make 3, 4, 5 times the amount. Of course, that comes at a massive risk of incarceration, violence, death, all these sorts of things. And that's obviously that, the cost benefit, they need to do better cost benefits analysis. But in the absence and in the vacuum of a strong cultural, social system around them, they're going to be enticed by the apparent riches that are on offer in the trapping life. So one thing I'd say as well is that I'm impressed by the work ethic, because you hear them talking about the work they're doing. They're doing the work, they're putting in the work in, they're trapping, they're going to their bandos or whatever outside of London doing their county lines. This is all, like I said, this is very low vibrational demonic stuff. I'm completely opposed to what they're doing, but the energy and the spirit and the principles that they're kind of bringing to this, you've got to value, and you've got to say, listen, we as adults, we as elders need to be making sure that those energies in our young boys in particular are not being sucked up by the demonic stuff, but they're being utilized for their higher selves, for their own self-actualization, for them going on a higher vibrational way of living rather than going down that dark route. So those are the 4 things that really jump out at me when I'm looking at UK drill. And it's not just UK drill, but it's what UK drill shows us that some of these youngsters are doing on the road. They desire power, they desire family, they desire wealth, and they desire ownership, or a sense of territory and location. Now, just to finish up this video, I want to say real quick, there are 2 big ways in which us as elders are failing our youths and leaving them to be at the mercy of these gangs. First of all, family breakdown. And I say family breakdown. Family breakdown makes it sound like they were intact together families, but then they sort of separated. No. A problem is that too many of our babies are being born into the world, A, without their father being around, and B, without their family, even of the mother or of the father, really being around either. So too many of our babies are being born into just to a mother who's young. Being a parent in a couple is hard work, for goodness. It's very, very hard work, just at the best of times. Let alone you're in your early 20s, and let alone that you're a single mother. It's very, very hard. So that's the first problem. You're talking about family. You're talking about wealth. All these things. The route to wealth, the only route I would say, the most surefire route to wealth, power, a sense of territory ownership, and a sense of family is the family. So first, that's the first way in which we are failing. We are the preponderance of lone parent families, or children being raised in lone parent families, is a problem, because a mother, one parent, even if it's a father, one parent cannot do it all, and secondly, there are many things I could say. Just check all my videos for, my views on what are the main solutions to our issues. But secondly, I would say our African cultures, and by African, I'm talking about our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean as well. Our cultures have the answers. There's that saying, if the youth are not initiated into the village, then they will burn the village down to feel the heat. That's basically what we're seeing with these youths and the gangs and the drilling and all that sort of stuff. We as Africans had things like age sets. In my culture, in the Bagisu culture in Uganda, and this is the same for many other cultures across Africa, circumcision, male circumcision didn't happen at baby time like it does in other parts of Africa. Male circumcision happened at around about teenage years, if you like, adolescence, teenage. And the whole point of it wasn't just, let's do the physical act. The whole point of it was that you would do that, and you would be initiated into the society. You would be taught over a period of many, many weeks and months about the values of the culture and the values of society, your position, your expected role in society. And all of those people who were circumcised at the same time would now be part of an age set, who would then basically, the idea was that they were supposed to be like a kind of like a gang, if you want to use modern low vibrational terminology. There'd be like a gang that would basically like hold each other to account, and they would go through life being part of that age set. You know, other parts of Africa have very similar things, not just based around circumcision or whatever, but various cultural practices that were aimed around the age set and that were aimed at preparing children, boys and girls, to be part of society. We've got rid of all of that. Unfortunately, we have the outward manifestations. So maybe we still have the circumcision, but all the other stuff that's around it has gone largely. So like I would say this is the case with a lot of our cultures, Africa and the Caribbean, is that we have the outward manifestations. We might talk the language, we might speak the patois, we might, you know what I mean, we might eat the food, we might have the clothes, all these outward superficial stuff we've got. But the deeper philosophical power of the culture, we've gone. We've replaced that with this amorphous Western way of living, where there is no real culture, there is no real philosophy. It's just commercialization, mass media, you know, being made into we're being programmed to be machines or consumers. That's what we have. And so these young people, they crave that. They crave the cultural moorings. That's what they need. The families are fragmented, and as a result of that and connected to that, our cultures are non-existent. Our cultures are surface level, and as a result, our children are just aimlessly going through life, and so they're being sucked up by the maleficent, by the evil doers, basically, those evil doing elders, those evil doing men and women in their 20s, 30s and 40s who are at the top of these gangs, let alone those people who are not even within the community, who are shipping in the guns, shipping in the drugs. No guns are made in the ghetto. Babylon sends them down there. Song by Little Hero called Down in the Ghetto. There's a point, like these youths, these young black boys who are like talking about stabbing, chinging, they're involved, you know, they're in the middle of a very, very big web. They do not make any guns. They do not formulate these drugs. They do not import the cocaine. They do not import the heroin or whatever. They don't do any of that. Other people do, from other countries, not African countries. Remember that. So they are victims, if you like, active participants, but they are also victims in this great web of low vibrational demonic activity. It's incumbent, it's imperative that we as black men and women, elder black men and women, stop the nonsense. Some people say that word is a swear word. So stop the nonsense, stop making excuses, stop saying, oh, well, people from my country are doing well, or oh, well, people from my tribe are doing well. Cut the nonsense. You look at the names of these people in these gangs. Look at the names. Chris Kaba, Congolese. You know, look at the names of them. The Congolese, they're Ugandan, they're Ghanaian, they're Nigerian, they're Jamaican heritage. They're from across, it's the United Nations of black people. You know what I mean? Don't fool yourself. We're all in the same boat. It's incumbent upon us to do everything that we can to turn this ship around. And I'm not saying that all black youth are involved in the drilling and stuff. They're not. But a significant minority of them are. And they're helping to make life really, really difficult for everyone in our inner city areas, in London and other parts of the country. You know? So anyway, that's all I want to say. Those are my thoughts on UK drill. There's a lot that we can learn from UK drill. And if we listen, my closing statement is that if we listen to UK drill with a discerning eye and with self-reflection in mind, we shall understand and see that we created UK drill, and we can stop things like UK drill coming out by dealing with the root causes, the conditions that create something like UK drill that then helps to reinforce the demonic activities that are taking place, unfortunately, in many of our areas that we live here in the UK. All right? So, take care. I hope you've enjoyed this video. My name's Eli Wananda. Do make sure, if you'd like to support the work that I'm doing, please do consider buying me a coffee or signing up to my Substack, eliwananda.substack.com. You can get all the notes on my videos when I do the more, statistical database videos. So check that out. Let me know your thoughts, please. Let me know your comments on this. It's a different kind of video, but I really hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on it. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.